Hello, and welcome to Words Beyond Earth. This is a space for souls who've never quite felt like they belong here on Earth, and now are starting to remember why. Here we talk about spirituality, crystals, star seeds, the soul's journey across dimensions. I'm Marina, and together we will remember who we are, where we came from, and why we're here. Let's go beyond. Hello guys! Today I am very excited to bring to you a very interesting topic that is a little bit niche in the spiritual community. It's not so widely spread and maybe not so many people are talking about it, but maybe you've heard something about it before and maybe you have even experienced something that I will be discussing today. So today's topic is about lucid dreaming, and specifically what can we actually learn from our lucid dreams and how they can practically help us in our life. I will be talking about more introductory information about lucid dreaming. If you do want to learn about it in detail, I will share a couple of authors whose books have been very helpful on my own path, and someone that I've been learning about lucid dreaming and the techniques on lucid dreaming from. So feel free to refer to those authors. But I will be giving today a more introduction to the topic, some of the interesting, maybe lesser known things about it, and also what is my experience with lucid dreaming and what have I personally learned from my recent lucid dream that was really revolutionary in my understanding of manifestation. So what are lucid dreams? Lucid dreams are not necessarily a spiritual term or a new age term. It's quite a, I would say, biological phenomena that occurs in probably every single person's life at some point, specifically in childhood. A lucid dream is a dream where you are sleeping and experiencing the dream, but at some point you are realizing that you are dreaming. So it's a very weird experience when you are going about your dream, things are happening around you, and then out of the blue you think, wait a second, everything looks super weird right now. Maybe I'm dreaming. And then poof, you kind of, get awareness of being asleep inside your dream. And then depending if you know what to do after that moment, if you know how to stay in this state, you can do pretty awesome and even sick things. So I'm very excited to share with you what you can actually do there and how it's going to be beneficial with you. Lucid dreaming is, to my information, is quite common, but a lot of people don't really remember their dreams. Hence, they cannot really remember if they had a lucid dream or not. It occurs not throughout every sleep cycle or every stage of the sleep cycle. Throughout the night, lucid dreams are occurring more in some sleep stages than the others, specifically the sleep stage when you have already slept before and your body is already a little bit recovered from sleeping, because when you're just falling asleep at night, all your body wants is to just go to deep sleep as fast as possible so it can recover itself, store some information, do some maintenance and cleaning and housekeeping. And then when the body has restored a little bit, somewhere around maybe 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, when you already had some sleep, you start entering the other sleep cycle or sleep stage when your consciousness is becoming more active and you are, of course, still seeing the dreams, but now your consciousness is a bit more active in the dream, so you actually can awaken yourself inside the dream. So of course this for most of people who've never heard about lucid dreaming before happens automatically. They are just able to awaken themselves inside the dream and understand, wow, I'm dreaming. But for the majority of people, you actually have to learn how to do that, because it's not automatic, especially when you are an adult. Some people say that kids are lucid dreaming all the time, and it's really hard to prove for your personal self, because you probably don't remember, unless you do remember if you did it. But if you do have kids, ask them sometimes, especially kids under the age of 10, maybe even under the age of 7. Ask them if they sometimes have lucid dreams, meaning the dreams where they understand that they're sleeping, and ask your kids what are they actually doing then, once they realize that they're sleeping. So the lucid dream is a very ancient practice that is extensively described in different religious, philosophical movements and teachings. For example, Buddhist, it's quite in Buddhism they research lucid dreaming quite a lot, also on a very, very advanced spiritual level, on the level of very high spiritual mastery. And there are special goals that people can pursue when they're learning to lucid dream within the framework of Buddhism. This is very interesting. There are lots of books written on that. You can read about it as well. But today we will be talking about lucid dreaming outside of those religious and very specific spiritual traditions. We will be talking about it in a bit more applicable to day-to-day life of the majority of people sense. So you don't really have to have a background in any spiritual theory in Buddhism or anything like that really in depth. So lucid dreaming are basically, for our purposes, are a tool effectively to you experiencing yourself, experiencing your consciousness, and also experiencing your subconscious mind, and also experiencing other people and astral plane. So if you have a question about astral travel, lucid dreaming can be a stepping stone for you to learn to astral travel through lucid dreaming. And I will explain a little bit more how to do that later today. Overall, if I were to ask you, do you dream every night? Some people would say, yeah, for sure, I do dream all the time. Other people would say, no, I definitely have no dreams. I never dream, I never dreamt, and I think that's just not something that can work for me at all. Some people say that they see black and white dreams. Some people say that they see colorful dreams. So how about you? Do you see dreams every night? Do you remember them? Or you think that you don't dream at all? Well, according to science, every single person dreams. They do have dreams every single night, but they might not remember them at all because your brain, for some reason, decides not to keep that information, or maybe your sleep cycle is a little bit off, or maybe you're just so tired that your body does not want to invest its energy into remembering your dreams, and your body just prefers to forget them. But you can definitely teach yourself to remember your dreams, whether these are lucid dreams or not. You can still practice and train that. Of course, throughout history, there have been many people who attempted to understand dream worlds. What does it mean? Are there any symbols or patterns that we can decode? Sigmund Freud did a lot of studying on dreams and wrote in his books. And it depends on you whether you're interested to learn about dreams from a more scientific standpoint or not. But if you would like to experience something truly magical and interesting and exciting, learning how to lucid dream will definitely be one of those absolutely incredible practices that you can try at least once in your lifetime. Because I think once you learn how to lucid dream, it gives you the toolkit. But in order to have consistent lucid dreams, you really have to practice that, because you have to practice and prepare for lucid dreaming during the day, so that you can have a lucid dream at night. So it's a practice that has to be sustained and consistent for you to have consistent lucid dreams. So what can you actually do in your lucid dreams? Why is it beneficial to even try and learn them? Well, I think on the very generic, very basic level, it's pretty exciting to understand inside your dream that you are dreaming, that you are in the dream world, and nothing that you're seeing around you is real. So basically you can play with things and you can do whatever you want in your dream. And that can lead people to very creative, very interesting places. And for some other people, it can lead them to probably scary and weird experiences as well. But that's also part of experiencing yourself, your own subconscious mind, and maybe access to something even broader. So when you realize that you're dreaming inside your dream, first thing you can do, you can of course talk to your own subconscious mind and ask it questions. How can you improve your life? And this can happen in the form of talking to characters in your dream, or there is even practices described in books that you can literally shout your question into the sky in your dream, or shout it into the space around you and ask a question. For example, you're trying to build a new business idea and you can try shouting in the sky, what should I choose as the next business opportunity? Where should I invest money? And see what it tells you. Some people say that they are using this to help them predict or forecast things that's going to happen, or they ask their subconscious mind for creative ideas. You can experiment with it and see how cooperative and how helpful your subconscious mind will be. There will be things that your subconscious mind will not be willing to tell you because it still protects you from something. So it will try to hide certain things from you. And you would have to be really creative in order to get in that information. And also you have to show your subconscious mind that you are mature and protected and safe enough to get that information. So some people, of course, use lucid dreaming for processing their trauma or some previous past experiences or fears, because when you know that you are in an environment of your dream, you are in a safe environment because it's environment of your subconscious mind. So you can basically work with your subconscious mind on its terrain, on its terms, and know that you are protected and you're safe. So that's another thing. You can also talk to your soul and to your spirit guides. You can invite your spirit guides to visit you in a dream world and share with you some information or maybe give you support. I did ask once my guide to come to me in my dream, and it was a really beautiful dream. I was already falling out of a lucid dream. It was a very short one. I didn't have too much awareness. I was falling out of it, but then I saw a man dressed as a Buddhist monk in beautiful orange robes who was sitting in the corner of the room, and I looked at him and he smiled at me and he nodded. And I knew for sure that was my spirit guide in my dream, who was just encouraging me and cheering me and telling me that everything was amazing and it was good. And I woke up really feeling, very refreshed, very excited, very happy, because it was really nice sign to connect with my spirit guide and to actually see him in a physical form that he could take in my dream. It was really nice. What else can you do in your lucid dream? You can talk to other people, whether people that are alive right now on Earth or people that lived on Earth some time ago. Well, it's of course very debatable whether you're talking to a projection from your own mind or a collective projection. So this really requires a lot of research. What can you access? But in any case, you can have that conversation and get something beneficial for you from that conversation. You can also talk to different characters that can represent parts of your ego or conscious mind. You can also talk to the parts of your mind that are repressed or suppressed. So you can discover if you have a wounded child, and you can invite it in your lucid dream and talk to them and maybe give them some love that they were missing from your personal childhood. You can also work, of course, with recurring nightmares, and you can learn what these nightmares are meaning to teach you, which is going to be a super exciting, very enriching journey in your life if you can muster up the confidence and bravery to face your nightmares and to understand what are they trying to tell you about yourself, of course, about your undoubtedly very big gift that is hidden behind the nightmare. So if you're ready to look into that, you can definitely do that in a lucid dream. You can also practice different skills, physical skills. You can practice sports, and just as visual, creative visualization and creative meditation, practicing skills in a lucid dream for sure improves your real skill in your real life. And some of the books that I read alert that if you practice meditation in a lucid dream, the benefits of that meditation are multiplied to the equivalent that you would get from practicing meditation in your daily life. So meditating in a lucid dream is super powerful. It's very charged. So you can do that. You can meet, of course, different characters, famous people, movie stars, characters from movies and books, and you can also talk to them. And you can assign basically in your mind the characteristics that you know these characters possessed in a book or a movie, and you can talk to them about, certain standpoints, their opinions, their decisions, things like this, which could also be beneficial for you. Obviously, you can travel everywhere around the earth, and also you can travel to the imaginary worlds. For example, you can travel to worlds of Harry Potter, of Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, any other movie or book that you can imagine, because your dream is your world, and you can ask your mind to create and to mimic any world that you know of and that you can experience really amazing adventures in that world. And also you can access the astral plane through lucid dreaming, and you can learn how to astral travel. But this is a bit of an advanced technique. So before you can astral travel through lucid dreaming, if you want to use lucid dreaming as sort of like an access point or the gate to astral travel, you need to have a bit more experience with lucid dreaming. You have to be stable in your lucid dream, and you have to know what you're doing and how to basically design everything around you. And as I mentioned, if you would like to learn even more about the benefits of lucid dreaming and how it can help you, I would definitely advise learning the books of the following authors, which I read myself and they're very helpful for me. But there are, of course, many more other authors, and maybe you can find people who suit you even more. So, of course, the most famous one and probably the pioneer that spreading the research and the knowledge about lucid dreaming was Stephen LaBerge, and that's probably where every lucid dreamer starts their research. He mentions his experience, his research, his techniques. It's going to be really useful for you. Another one is Robert Wagner. That's also quite a famous author that you can read about his research and about his experience. Charlie Morley is another guy who is very famous in this field, and he has really, really amazing, very extensive training and several books that will help you to learn lucid dreaming in a really nice and sort of easy way. Definitely recommend. And also Alan Wallace, I also really like his books. I think he's also writing about adjacent topics, not necessarily only about lucid dreaming, but I would definitely recommend to read his books as well. So, what can we practically learn in a lucid dream, and how can we use lucid dream to benefit our life? A couple of things, and I think you can extend that list with things that are similar to this, but are more beneficial for you and are more relevant for you right now. So, of course, you can learn about your current blockages in life, the lessons that you need to learn. You can learn about ideas and sort of creative solutions to something. If you're an artist, if you're a musician, if you're a performer, you can get fresh ideas for your creativity and your art. You can also learn how to achieve very specific goals in your personal life, whether it's your career, your relationships, your health. You can get almost like a step-by-step plan on how to achieve that. You can learn and understand what do you need to learn further in your life to advance to the next level of your development, personal development or spiritual development. You could ask characters in your dream, what are your blind spots at the moment? What is it something that you are missing out, or maybe something that could be, very beneficial for you to realize right now? And you can also ask, what should be your next goal? What can you achieve next? For example, you're thinking that, I kind of have this certain things in my life and I would love to venture somewhere else. Maybe a new career idea, or maybe new business, or maybe new hobby. You would like to, discover yourself next, further things in your life path, and you can definitely ask in your lucid dream for advice on that. And lastly, today I also wanted to share the incredible wisdom and incredible life hack about life that I learned in my lucid dream. So it was a very interesting one. I don't really lucid dream way too often, but this was such an incredible one. It was definitely the longest lucid dream I ever had. And normally, if you do try to learn lucid dreaming, you know that it's very hard to stay in a lucid state in your dream. And normally you will start falling back into sleep, sometimes even without seconds after realizing you're lucid dreaming. But for me, this one was lasting really like an hour, it felt like. So I was there walking in my hometown, somewhere close by to the house where I grew up, and we're going up the hill on the road, and I realized that I'm asleep. So I knew, it's a lucid dream, that's amazing. And there was another character next to me, it was a girl, and I told her, this is a lucid dream, this is amazing, we can do something. And she was like a bit skeptic, yeah, I'm not sure about that. And here a side quote, sometimes characters will try to mock you or try not to believe what you're saying, so you can almost feel like you have to prove it to them. And I told her, look, I can try to conjure an ice cream to prove you that this is the lucid dream. And I looked at my hands and I really tried to imagine to have an ice cream there. And the ice cream was not really popping up. And she looked at me and she said, you know what? You are really trying to do something really hard. You know that you can conjure up an ice cream, but you are not really 100% sure if it's going to work because you've never done this before. So even though you know how to do what you need to do and you believe that it's possible to do it, you might still have a blockage in how to achieve it because the goal is a bit too far from you, right? So it's not something very easy to do. It's something that you really need to know the path to. So she said, instead of trying to conjure up an ice cream in your hand out of a thin air, try to imagine that around the corner there's a restaurant or an ice cream shop. And then when you go there, you will look at the menu that they do have an ice cream. So instead of trying to convince yourself that you know how to get from point A to point C, especially if your point C, your imaginary goal, is way too far from where you are right now, sometimes it's really hard to convince yourself that you actually know how to get there. Maybe try to break down your big goal into a couple of small checkpoints. So instead of dreaming about an ice cream, try to dream about finding an ice cream shop and you will find ice cream there. And I woke up thinking, wow, this is really so simple and so profound at the same time. How many times in life we're really trying to achieve something, far-fetched, something incredible, something that we believe would be an amazing dream came true, but somewhere deep inside our mind we still have a doubt. Well, I don't really know how to get there. I'm not 100% sure I will work it out. What if I will not, make it? What if I won't get lucky? What if I don't find the path? So sometimes in life, you don't have to try to reach to point C from point A. It's pretty hard. You will get there much faster if you find an intermediary step and you first get to that step. So, as a conclusion today, I would like to wish you to come up with a dream or a goal or something that you are really working towards. Think about your end goal, and instead of trying to reach it straight ahead, if you're struggling with that, try to find an intermediary point, a point B to your points A and C, and pop it down in the comments if you really found what your point B could be, and maybe if you already achieved it, because sometimes the brain just needs to get that permission, and then it will start working out the solution to your current quest. Well, that was it for today, guys. As always, please like this episode and subscribe to my channel if you would like to help me to reach more people like you and me for whom this information can be very useful. And as always, from my heart to yours, remember who you are, stay curious, stay open. You are worth beyond Earth. Until next time.